What's up, everybody? Brett Mix of Mixer Madness here for the week 46 of the Monday Night Wars. This is the WCW side, August 19th, 1996. The 49th episode of Nitro, but the 46th week they go at it head-to-head. Nitro beats Raw for the 10th week in a row by a score of 3.5 to 2.9. So through 46 weeks now, Nitro has won 27 times to WWF 17 and 2 draws. This is the Nitro with a 3.5 rating. Nitro begins all over the Casper Event Center, live on TNT from the Von Braun Civic Center in Huntsville, Alabama, actually. It's the Von Braun Civic Center in Huntsville, Alabama. The Casper Civic Center was the show before. For the first hour of Nitro, the living legend Larry Zbyszko and Tony Schiavone do play-by-play. And they talk about Duggan getting a return match with VK Wall Street from Clash of the Champions. This is the show after Clash of the Champions on the Fall Brawl, on the road to Fall Brawl WARGames, as Hog Wild was just a week or two ago, while Clash of the Champions just happened. Jim Duggan took on VK Wall Street to open up the match, or open the show up. As we said, that these two will have a return match. VK Wall Street tried to make it 2 straight victories over Hacksaw Jim Duggan. USA chance and a side headlock by Rotunda. A standing vertical suplex then goes for the tree rage by Nick Patrick, takes it away as he goes for the tape to tape his fists up and then hit the opposite man. Rotunda starts taping his own with the wrist tape that Duggan is taping with. Rotunda takes some of that tape and starts to tape it around his own fist. So Duggan hits him before he can get away with the tape. So Jim Duggan wins at 528. Rated at half a star. It was just basic. Randy Savage comes to the ring and says they both got problems with Hogan, but tonight he's going to get loose on the Giant. Pretty much the basics of that promo. Earl Robert Eaton took on Chris Benoit with Women and Miss Elizabeth. Earl Robert Eaton came in alone as there had been problems with the Blue Bloods as of late. Benoit drops Earl Robert Eaton with a quick Irish whip and an abdominal stretch. It was countered then by a leg sweep, and outside Benoit goes as Earl Robert Eaton used his own momentum to take him to the outside. Then hit him into the ring post on the outside. Benoit with a hip toss onto the concrete. Benoit then laid out right hands into the ring in a hard chop. Woman then kicked at Earl Robert Eaton as he was laying on the outside as Benoit distracted the official in the ring. Now joining him back in the ring, Benoit hit with a chop to Earl Robert Eaton. Earl Robert Eaton a reverse elbow shot to him. Benoit goes to choke him out on the middle rope and stomps on him. Both men to their feet are Earl Robert Eaton and Chris Benoit. Swinging neckbreaker by Earl Robert Eaton to Benoit out of nowhere. Eaton missed a leg drop as Benoit crashed into the clothesline. Then a headbutt to Earl Robert Eaton. Then a 3 count. So Benoit wins at 4:02. It was a nice and simple match. I rated it 2 stars and a quarter. So not long enough to rate it high, but it was going in a good direction, that match. Scott Norton, before Scott Norton, another Glacier vignette played. And then Sting and Luger cut a backstage promo on the Horsemen. They're scheduled to face the Horsemen tonight. Scott Norton takes on the Disco Inferno. Norton with a bunch of power moves, body shots, and slams to the mat, and a shoulder breaker in the end. Scott Norton defeated the Disco Inferno at 4:01. Who spent time dancing before the bell rang. Norton hit him with the flashback, which is a swinging armbar, and put him on the weight on the shoulder as Disco tapped out. I rated that a star. Ice Train and Teddy Long cut a promo backstage at Mean Gene. Says he has a bone to pick with Scott Norton. That's his former tag team partner in the Team Fire and Ice. Dean Malenko then took on Lord Steven Regal, and this one was a great little match. Malenko with a spinning drop toe hold then into an STF. Regal gets back up and hit an overhead wrist lock to Dean Malenko into the corner. Malenko go back to the drop toe hold and then to an STF again. A front face lock by Regal back to his vertical base, and unfortunately they cut off to a commercial. They come back and Regal is dropping sweat, like a ton of sweat. Lord Steven Regal with a spinning kick then an arm vice. Regal to the corner lands a snapmare, but nobody gets the pinfall as a near fall. Malenko reaches the ropes. Lord Steven Regal with a high knee and a submission hold and an elbow, and then a full Nelson submission hold by Regal. Malenko trying to counter out and hits a drop kick in the opposite corner. Once out, then hits a German suplex Dean Malenko this time with a bridge, but a near fall. A gut-wrench suplex and a 2. Malenko was caught by a single leg pickup. Regal then at the inside cradle and just a 2. Malenko with an Oklahoma roll, and he gets the victory at 7:49. So an Oklahoma roll, an inside cradle, gets the victory for Dean Malenko over Lord Steven Regal. I rated it at 3 stars. 3 stars as hour 2 begins and the pyro goes off. The 4 horsemen come out for an interview. Arn Anderson says being a horseman is about having guts. And Ric Flair goes, mean! By God, Gene! Pretty much says something like that. And it says, tonight, Luger and Sting, tonight you walk the aisle. You style and profile. Double A and Nature Boy will rock and roll. Flair says, Hogan, if you're watching the show tonight, the Nature Boy has got more playing time than you got shower time. The Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Zags, take on the Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock. All 4 men brawl with each other in this one to get it started. Knobbs on the outside sends Grunge into the guardrail. Rocco Rock in control of Zags in the ring. A clothesline by Zags to Rock. Public Enemy double team the Nasty Boys a lot in this match. Most of the match it was just tandem wrestling, groups of 2 as they had a split screen. You had 2 different guys here and 2 different guys here. Knobbs inside the ring gets the pin on Rocco Rock after the Public Enemy drive themselves through the table on the outside. There's a table set up, and Rocco Rock crashes into Johnny Grunge on the table as Knobbs and Zags moved out of the way just in the right time for that somersault plancha through the table. And then after that, it was easy for Knobbs to get the victory over Rocco Rock. So Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock fall victim to the Public Enemy. It was a good little tag match. I rated it 2 stars. Chavo Guerrero took on DDP. High risk crossbody to DDP as we begin the match. Chavo Guerrero grabbed onto Page. DDP chokes out Chavo on the middle rope. This is a return match from their match at Clash of the Champions. DDP with a near fall, then a sitting powerbomb. He could have lifted him up. Belly to belly slam, and DDP pulls him up again, this time for the diamond cutter, but Chavo rolled out DDP with a backslide. In the end, Chavo defeated DDP, who was cocky, who was lifting Chavo up. He could have put Chavo away a ton of times in this match, but he kept lifting him up for more punishment, and as DDP went for the diamond cutter, Chavo Guerrero reversed it into a backslide pinning combination, and Chavo got the win. So DDP was pissed after the match and started whipping Chavo Guerrero with his belt. Star and 3/4. Harlem Heat took on All-American Males for the Tag Team Championship. Harlem Heat are champions again. And the All-American Males, on the 3rd episode of Nitro, they said, defeated Harlem Heat for the Tag Team titles way back a year ago. Or whenever the 3rd episode of Nitro was, so almost a year ago. Stevie Ray kicked away at Scotty Riggs before choking him out on the ropes. Will that happen again? That's the question. Both teams fatigue as Bagwell gets a hot tag into the Harlem Heat. The Males had won it before. Could they do it again? They look to do the same tonight. Bagwell with a roll-up on Stevie Ray, almost a 3. Ray and Booker T take it to them with a lot of power moves. A reverse Irish whip to the guardrail on the outside. Bagwell power slammed off the top turnbuckle, and Harlem Heat win the sprint of a tag match. At 4:10, Harlem Heat retained the titles as Booker T hit a scissors kick and a Harlem hangover to Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Rated the match 2 stars. Sting and the Horsemen then get ready to have the match, but instead they get on the microphone, and Sting says, instead of us wrestling and beating each other up like we have for all these years, why don't we just join forces and we have a bigger problem. The problem is the Horsemen have the same problem the WCW has, and that's the nWo. So they want the 2 top Horsemen. They pick out Arn and Flair over Benoit and McMichael to join Sting and Luger. So those 4 decided to join against nWo. So the nWo has to accept the challenge, and the executive booking committee has to make the match according to Bischoff on commentary. In the end, the main event was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Giant with Jimmy Hart. This one didn't really get going. It was just Savage that ran to the ring, started beating on the Dungeon of Doom with chairs. The Dungeon of Doom kept coming into the ring, but Macho Man kept decking them up with chairs, so it never really got started, so I don't rate it anything. That does it for the matches portion of the show. The commentary team just talked about Fall Brawl. This week's ratings, again, 3.5 victory to over 2.9 for Raw. So they're 27, 17, and 2. And I rated this show a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was pretty entertaining. Some solid matches, some solid promos, and some good work towards Fall Brawl. So that does it for this Nitro. 6.5 out of 10 is where I'm going to land it. quality-wise, and we'll see you on the next one, everybody. I'm Brett Mix. Like and subscribe, and I'm out.